Hey there! The most amazing finds made by diggers from Russia in this video. Cold steel. The attics of Russian houses continue to delight both searchers and collectors. Quite recently, in an attic of an old house, a cache was found in which there were 2 dragoon sabers and a dragoon soldier's saber, all 1881 version. It appears that the cache was made during the Civil War in the 1920s. It's now impossible to find out why the owner hadn't withdrawn the weapon. Both sabers were made at the Zlatoust Arms factory. Unfortunately, the brand can only be seen on one of the blades. The year of issue, 1915, has also been preserved. Despite the fact that, as it seems, the stash was made during the Civil War in Russia, the sabers turned out to be in a good condition. The corrosion of the blades can be removed after relatively easy manipulation without any harm for the weapon itself. The big plus of the find is that the scabbards had been preserved as well. Well, if the weapon was stored for all 100 years in a dry and ventilated place, then such preservation is not surprising. Weapons arsenal in the river. Police officers with cadets of the Nekrasov boarding school visited the Znamensky district of the Orlov region, where 33 small arms from the Second World War were lifted by the divers on the Nugur River. The searchers of the Nasledye team managed to find the weapons cache during the underwater historical searches on the Nugur and Ors rivers, carried out from July to September 2019 as a part of the Fiery Shores project. The divers raised 5 anti-tank rifles, several rifles of the Mosin system, Diktarov machine guns and Shpagin submachine guns. All weapons are in a very good condition. As the searchers said, clean, grease, and you can go back to battle. A plane. In central Poland, a Soviet military plane was found with the remains of 2 pilots. For many years, the wreckage rested at the bottom of the Vistula tributary. Now the river has become shallow due to the drought, and it's possible to extract fragments of the aircraft. Residents of a nearby village say they knew about the wreckage. As one of the locals say, they tried to investigate them several times but unfortunately had no luck, since the remains were constantly hiding under at least 2 meters of water. Now I see that it's possible to extract them. The plane was shot down during the Second World War. When it crashed, it was shattered into pieces. Now archaeologists have managed to extract some of them, including the engine and the fragments of the fuselage with the cockpit. Mikhail Anchak, the Historians Association member, says, "We just dug up the cockpit. Unfortunately, it contains the remains of the pilots. We tried to remove the remains properly and carefully." Historians believe that the plane was shot down in the last year of the war. At that time, German troops were retreating here towards Berlin. The aircraft could conduct reconnaissance. Zdislav Lishinsky, the director of the Vistula Museum in Vyshegorod, says, "This is undoubtedly a Soviet plane. All inscriptions inside are in Cyrillic. What year was it? The cartridges inside are from 1943. At the same time, the pilots wore fur shoes and fur coats. We assume that the plane was shot down in January 1945. The rest of the aircraft fragments will be retrieved using heavy equipment. While the wings are still at a great depth, the model of the aircraft will be determined later with an examination. Experts hope to establish the identity of the pilots." About 600,000 Soviet soldiers died in battles with German troops on the territory of Poland. Armory. More than 30 weapons and several thousand cartridges were seized by the police from a resident of Sevastopol. In the basement of the garage, a cache was made in which weapons and ammunition were stored. There was also a workshop in which weapons were altered and restored. The owner of the find was a collector. According to the man, he found most of the weapons on the battlefields of the Second World War. He altered some copies for firing blank ammunition in order to participate in the reconstruction of the Second World War battles. Among the items, there were several rare specimens that have historical significance. Also, in the basement, there was an aircraft cannon from an IL-2 aircraft in perfect working order. Now, a resident of Sevastopol faces several years in prison for illegal firearms possession.